Hello, it's Caleb again, Head of Change for Youth Sector at the Youth Endowment Fund. Just reflecting on our recent conference, Youth Commissioning, What Works to Prevent Children Becoming Involved in Violence, which was primarily aimed at Cabinet lead members, local council lead members for children and young people, lead commissioners for the PCC's office, children's commissioners with a portfolio or responsibility for reducing youth violence, which includes youth provision. Youth provision system players and some funders were in attendance too. We had a wide range of people arrive from all over England and Wales, which was fantastic. And the vibe and the mood in the camp was really positive, if you see my earlier post. So some reflections on what happened on the day. The day was opened by Rebecca, or Bex, best known at University College Birmingham, who proudly sponsored the event, and it was great to have them on board. We got the premises for free, which is absolutely super in terms of corporate social responsibility, and a big whoop whoop to them. They benefited completely from the day, and it was a mutual beneficial opportunity. So it's wonderful to have that. She kicked off today with some opening words. Then it was followed by Andre Russell, who's a Youth Advisory Board member at the YEF, who's also a youth commissioner, or formerly a youth commissioner from Coventry, who gave some of his insights and thoughts about the experiences of young people and the importance of inviting young people around the table and the importance of the issue. Followed by myself to formally open and welcome attendees, delegates for the day. And I shared some stats about youth violence. 1 in 2 young people are either victims or perpetrators of crime. If you want to check out more, check out our Children of Violence and Vulnerability report, which gives you all the stats of the 7,000 young people we spoke to, which is the largest youth violence survey for young people, we think, in the world. Followed by Dr. Laura Knight, who gave a really compelling and super overview of the toolkit, which is a snippet of what's actually in there. So delegates got the opportunity to hear more about the toolkit and ways in which that they might commission services. So that was really helpful. And again, I can't plug enough. Cabinet lead for children and young people, children's commissioners, and PCC leads, commissioners, and some funders. We'd love to hear from you. Directly inbox me, set up a meeting, let's have a conversation, so you can get into the very premise of what the toolkit's about through some of our activity that we're doing on a regional level in terms of that. After Dr. Laura, or Laura, which you prefer to be known as, we had a breakout discussion, which was fantastic. Really short. One of the positive reflections of the day was everyone saying, look, half a day is too short. And with all intents and purposes, we wanted to just test and see whether we can get the grab and pull towards the event, and it was successful in that regard. So the next one, which I'm aiming for autumn, but let's see, watch this pace. Definitely inbox me if you're interested. And the whole idea is that we'd have the full day and much more going on, and we might partner with someone around that as well. Then we went into the evidence into action section, which was kicked off by the director of West Midlands Violence Reduction Unit, Sarah Roach, who gave some really exciting and honest account and feedback on the journey through commissioning, which was partially experiential and partially being sat in a seat as a large commissioner of programs that would reduce youth violence, and the importance of data, but also the importance of implementation, the challenge about evidence and innovation and where the two meet as well, and just some really top level but meaty, worthwhile points that delegates were really appreciative of as a whole. Then we have our own Dr. Stevie Jade Hardy, who really compelled and built on what Sarah was talking about. Stevie is head of policing and youth justice, so if you're also doing work there, I'd really stay attentive to the things that Stevie is doing, and shared kind of how do you go about commissioning, what are the practical functionalities, and people who attended will get the slide deck, which have some really poignant, important parts that colleagues can take away, and those delegates can take away and start to action in their own attempts to reduce and efforts to reduce youth violence in their locality. And then we had Intale and Dean, who were from Becoming a Man, and this was probably the most talked about part of the session. There are the striving towards the evidence, building evidence. It was quite exciting because they entirely talked about pilots, trials, effectiveness, efficacy, things that as a academic organization with not just academic people, was quite positive to hear in terms of the strive to show, look, we're really trying to prove what works here. And aside from that brilliant element, which I think is where a lot of charities should go towards, and we're working hard to help, the other end of it is also the fact that programmatically and the features within the program, Dean talks a lot about, well, how do you work with young people? How do you carry the failures that happen with young people, and explain that to potential commissioners, that and the longevity in the journey and the importance of building that trust and taking the right time to do so in a thoughtful way. And you'll know that there is a form of kind of therapeutic approach that is embedded within the program as well. So yeah, they were the highlight, really. I mean, to be honest, all the speakers were highlights, but there was a lot of interest and questions that were directed at becoming a mentor. We're really grateful to have Intale and Dean come along. Then we had a panel discussion where people had the chance to ask questions, and loads of questions came out, so that was positive. And in the second half of the day, or the morning, we heard from High Trees, and it was phenomenal. To be honest, like Youth Voice, I can't push enough. If you're in the youth world, you know that Youth Voice is paramount to anything you do. And we heard from Anissa, from Emmanuel, and from Jamar, and the trio really challenged the room. One of the questions was, is it easier to ignore young people or involve them in terms of the Youth Voice? And then the second challenge was about, are you being tokenistic, or do young people actually have power to make decisions? And I think, great challenges that we should think about, certainly in the room. It brought a certain tone, an element of, yeah, this is something that we should really think about. And I had people come up and, when they were shaking hands saying, thank you, great conference, were saying, wow, those young people are really vibrant and fantastic. So yeah, absolutely. Then we did a how can we help, and through Mentimeter, which is a live interactive part. It was really useful. A lot of what delegates were sharing are things that we've got in plan, so that was really nicely aligned. And there were some really practically worthwhile things that we should do, which is commissioners are going to go out and commission based on what works. That's great, that's super. But actually what they need is some tools to share with potential future partners about what it is that they're looking for. And so whether we can produce that, which will be an offshoot of the evidence we build, and kind of looking at implementable resources or part of that package, that'll be worthwhile. Then the day ended up with closing statements from Ajada Bridge Matthews, who is part of the Youth Advisory Board too, and she shared two significant reflections from her world. And certainly the one that poignantly sticks out with me is the going out to and being immersed in the community. Go and see what's happening and feel it, so you know what you're purchasing or buying. And Stevie made that point much earlier, that it's important to know the context in which people are operating, because if you take a very ivory tower approach, you might not know the nuances, which is important for the fidelity of programs and projects that work so hard to improve and iterate their offer. So fantastic day. Lunch was great. University College Birmingham had their caterers do some at a really great discounted rate, so big shout to them. Helped us become within budget on the day, and that was a time to just go around and speak with different people. And a really huge thanks to Sarah Haywood, who last minute hosted one of our breakout rooms, which is super, and Adam Muir, who also hosted one of our breakout rooms, and obviously to all the colleagues involved who attended. We're deeply appreciative for you giving up your time to come and speak to a room of quite powerful people. And to the delegates, we're just getting started. So it's been great, super. We hope you come to the next conference for when we're thinking about youth provision, youth commissioning, and watch this space. If there's anything you'd like to reach out about, please do. And for those who did attend, do fill in our feedback form, drop me a line. I'd love to chat to you and get some things cooking so that we can start to see some of this stuff as we build this movement, some of the stuff, which is the what works bit, being put into practice. All the very best. Have a good day, and we'll catch up soon.